here from a Buyer's Choice Home Inspection. I'm a local home inspector to the Sherwood Park, Fort Saskatchewan area. If you're looking at getting a home inspection done with a good, detailed, thorough report, by all means, give me a call. Judy with the Buyer's Choice Home Inspection, inspected once, inspected right.
How do they get a hold of you?
Oh, phone number, 780-220-3798.
Thank you. It's the Lorenz Team Real Estate Show on the Real Estate Channel on TVU with your host, Jeff Lorenz. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm great. Nice to see you again, James. How are you doing?
Very well, very well. I had to take 2 days off with walking because it was over 30 C. And yes, my workman's compensation doesn't cover me at that heat. It's true. Well, it's true.
I'm glad that I have my air conditioning working from a past guest on our show, Dave Stanley Smith. And I know he's running off his feet right now, too.
Good. That's good. Another very interesting show. Kind of segues with the property and the buyers program from last week. So what do we got?
Yeah. This week, we invited Judy Schuller with Buyer's Choice to join us. She's one of our very reliable and reputable referral partners within our sphere and our network. And she does our home inspections. And she's been working with our team quite closely for a number of years now. So this is Judy.
Hi, everyone.
Go ahead. And so, Judy, that very interesting business. So, just give us a little bit of just a real kind of your elevator, synopsis of your business, and then let's get into some of the things that we were talking about before the show. So, just go ahead.
So, I do home inspections. So, if you're going to sell a home, I can do pre-sale inspections. If you're buying a home, I should do an inspection. If you're building a new home, I should do an inspection. All those kind of things. If you've had a contractor in, I do maintenance inspections. So from an overview, a lot of those type of things, and just make sure people are doing their job, things are completed properly, so you're not left with the bag trying to catch up on some of these things. So there's certain guidelines in place that people have to do for jobs and stuff, and that's what I try to do, is do everything and keep it up for them.
That's interesting. I hate to jump in, Jeff, but I have just a kind of a consumer perspective question. Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of times people are, when I'm talking to them, I ask if they, they're considering a home inspector and say, oh, I had an appraiser come out. What's the difference?
So an appraiser does a value of the house for the bank. I do a picture of what the home looks like that day of the inspection. So normally you have a good checklist of items to do because no house is perfect, even your new ones. But it gives you an idea of what you're buying and if you can afford to move into that house. Usually the checklist, is not something that has to be done tomorrow. If we find stuff absolutely not working, we'll let you know, because that you might want to do tomorrow. But it's a list of items that you should look after, so you can look after your home when your home has value when you go to sell it. If you do nothing to your house, the value goes down, and we all want value in our homes.
Okay, so I'm getting a wider view of the services that you provide. Yeah, there's an expediency in the buy-sell for inspected, but you're talking about ongoing renovation or just having you out year 5, year 6, year 7, and just to see how you've been maintaining your property for resale. It's very interesting. Sorry, Jeff, I didn't jump in there.
When you go to sell it, right, and Jeff will probably attest to this, the more things that are done nice, neat, and clean, that home sells quicker, right? If people come in and the list is too long, they may say, oh, geez, I don't want to do that. There's too much stuff to do. But if they come in and the majority of the stuff is done, they're okay with that. And then they'll say, hey, I got 5 things to do. I'm good, right? Things like that. So I just see the homes that are nice, neat, and clean, they are usually quick on the market. They're priced right and the realtors are doing their thing, which they normally do. They're in and out, right? They're a quick buy.
And so it's like it's used by both the buyer and the seller then. So the seller does the inspection to see what they need to do to get it prepped, or it's an option for them. And then the buyer can, with the inspector, and say, here's all the things that they had to do, and here's what's left, right?
Yeah, they can do that. So I do pre-inspections, then I can go back and do the inspection afterwards. That happens sometimes because I'm independent. I don't owe anything to a realtor. I don't owe anything to the buyer. Who's ever paying the bill is who I look after, right? And so if I go back and do the re-inspection, well, this is what I found. This is what you got to work on. This is what they've done. We can check to see, because some people do things in their house, right? They may say, oh, I didn't know that, so I better do that, right? And they'll clean the house up quite nicely. And we got 4 or 5 things left, and then you can identify those. And it helps narrow down that list and make it a little more comfortable.
But it's not, go ahead.
I was just going to say, you know, speaking from a realtor's perspective, the inspector is a critical part of the puzzle, whether you are the buyer or the seller, because it's putting us in a position of where we're negotiating, frankly, on behalf of our customers.
Yeah.
But the critical part, or the piece that matters to us the most when we're working with an inspector is, and this is where Judy's really good, is it is very matter of fact. There are unfortunately some in every industry that do things differently, and at times we find that an opinion or a personal opinion around something can influence a buyer or seller in an unexpected or negative way, and then realtors have put a bunch of time into a deal that falls apart on something that might not even be truly factual. And what we really appreciate about Judy is that it's all fact. It's a very objective critique of a property. She doesn't oversell or overstate anything, but she doesn't understate anything either. So the person who has hired her is getting just a really good objective overview of that home, which can serve 2 purposes, one being the to-do list, but the other might be either a negotiating piece if we're finding things that were unexpected, but the other is you might be dodging a bullet. And the question that I had for Judy was, because I think at times people don't realize what she might uncover on a property that they would have otherwise perhaps purchased had they not done an inspection. Judy, do you have any examples, or is there an example that stands out to you of perhaps something you found that, you know, was a fairly serious issue that would have been overlooked by a buyer, and perhaps they would have bought themselves a nightmare?
I guess the one that I really know is I found cracks in foundation. And then in that same house, we found moisture in the basement bathroom coming from the upstairs that the seller did not know about. And the realtor was able to negotiate both of those, you know, take it down to be fixed because they had to be fixed. But it was a win-win for both sides. And it's very, very important to get that inspection, just so you know what you're buying. That's all it is, right?
And that's found because you have a skill set, of course, but you also have tools in your toolbox that you use as well. Maybe that would be something to refer to as well.
Yeah, so I do thermal imaging and I do moisture testing and all that kind of stuff. But it's when you do a house, I touch everything in the house. Right now with COVID, I'm wearing gloves and doing a lot of cleaning, but I touch everything in that house. So pretty much every doorknob gets touched, every drawer gets touched, every corner, every nook. So you find an awful lot of interesting things. And some people figure they can hide things, but for the most part you can't, right? It is, that's what the thermal imaging does. It can show up structure, if people have fixed things or not fixed things. It shows up sometimes electrical, if electrical's bad. So there's a few different things that it can show up that I would never do a house inspection without it now.
Yeah.
So you're going from footing to shingles. Is that correct?
Yes.
So when you say touch,
all that kind of stuff.
Okay, when you say touch everything, people may be thinking, oh, the couch and the VCR and the computer. But
not talking house.
No, I hear you, but
not
you know,
not the belongings.
You speak matter of factly, like Jeff has said, but a lot of us, we don't really realize. So we'll just do a quick describe what you do exactly with a home.
So basically, we start on the outside, look at the roof, look at the landscaping, see what problems we've got. I like to count my vents. I like to see where everything should be coming out of that property. And then when I get inside, I see if it's there. See if it's hooked up properly, see if I got any leakage. And so I usually turn every light on in the house. And I like them to stay on until I'm done. And there's certain reasonings for that. I get wash machine go, a washer, clothes washer, dishwasher, all that kind of stuff. I want it running. 2 reasons. I want the people to see what the noise is like in the house, okay, because sometimes that can be a huge, big issue. I like to hear what the noise is. The noise will tell me lots if I have some unique noises happening from a client's perspective. And then I just go downstairs and take apart the electrical and we start opening it up, having a look, and then go from there. If you see something interesting in the electrical, and you continue on until you find the problem or solution. there's always solutions for everything, and I'm very much into educating the people what the solution is. Sometimes it's it's an easy fix. Sometimes it can be a really expensive fix. Either way, I don't know prices, but I do know some easier ways of doing things.
Nice. And then so the people are left with a detailed report or online. How do you do that?
I email everything out. So everything's a PDF with pictures. So it's very clear pictures so you can see what you're doing. And if it's something that's a little bit easy that they could be doing, and you can usually judge that by talking to people, I'll give them pictures and examples. We have an app that they can go to and look through, so it'll show them exactly what they're doing, right? If it's a little bit more, and you have certain people who don't want to touch mechanical and stuff, I don't have a problem with that either. I usually like to talk to them so I get a good feel. But either way, I will send them to the appropriate people. So whether it's a plumber or an HVAC, or whether, they say, oh, well, I should get an electrician in, when maybe they really should get a garage door open, right? That kind of stuff. Just saying them with the good people out there that are going to treat them well.
Good. Excellent. Well, that was totally fascinating. It's excellent.
I've been doing it for 10 years and love every minute of it, because you always see something unique.
That's good. No, it's very all the different kind of things that fit together to have a healthy, functioning, real estate market. It's been.
I like that word, healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So interesting. This is one of my neat finds. Hey, we have these new heat recovery units out there, in these new energy efficient homes. Well, did you know you really have to clean them? You have to open up them. You have to take out those fans and everything and clean them. So I've been in a house, over $1 million home, 5 years old, and everything was plugged.
Oh,
right?
No one told them. No one told them, right? They're thinking that it's.
Well, I don't know. I'm not sure, but whatever, right? That's what I'm saying. So that's just
we're homeowners. We're simple creatures.
Oh, I see. There you go. There you go.
Okay, so what do we have for? We're gonna do a pick of the week, or do you have a little bit of news, Jeff?
Well, the only thing I was going to refer to is continuing on from last week. We saw just a huge number of sales still coming through. In the last 3 days, we've had 50 sales in Sherwood Park, which includes your single-family homes as well as acreages and condos. But that single-family home market in Sherwood Park right now is still really quite robust. And to a certain degree, I'm not sure it's sustainable right now. And as we've discussed in the past, a big segment of the economy right now is really being propped up through government, support. And when those taps start to be turned off, we'll get a really good sentiment of exactly where we stand in the economy. But interest rates are good. There've been a lot of people that have been sitting on the sidelines, and they're starting to pick things up. So it's been a really good, busy July. And it's perhaps this has been our spring market, and we're just glad that we've had one.
Well, and the only thing that I wanted to add is, the kind of the unique things that the Alberta government's doing for Restart. And there was a recent $1 billion for municipalities. Lots of things that I think that, people could be at the bottom. Here we are, right? Can be confident that this is the bottom, right? And so, but it's going 50 sales. What were in 3 days? How many new listings?
Yeah, 36 new listings in that same period of time across those three segments of the market. So simple math, if you're putting on 36 and taking 50 off, what's happening to your inventory pool. And
which means
that's right. Your inventory pool starts to shrink. What happens to prices? They certainly start to move up. So it has to be sustained. You have one good month, it's not going to necessarily correct prices in any strong way. But if you start to see it trending, then absolutely you're going to get some upward pressure on pricing.
And you guys, you've taken an interesting role. You're doing big in the single family, but you're also going after the entry. We had a nice property last week, and you got another one this week. What do you got this week?
Yeah, so if you let me screen share here.
Just a second.
I will.
There you go.
I'll highlight here briefly. Tell me if you can see that.
It's coming, yeah.
All right, so
nice.
This is a half duplex that we recently listed in Sherwood Park in Lakeland. Mm-hmm. And what's really nice about these units is that they were just designed with the intent of a very open feel. As you can see here, everything is open to the kitchen. These are 2-story units. but they were really nicely done. This one is
Wow.
priced at $374,900. It is not a condo, so there is no condo fee. And if you were in this home, you would just think that you're in a comfortable, well-designed, well-laid out 2-story home.
It is, yes.
What makes this one particularly interesting, and I'm clicking through kind of quick. This is just a computer alcove that's upstairs.
Yep.
Upstairs laundry, nice size master. But I want to show you a real quick shot of the backyard because there was a few units. This is basement development here. Really nice basement open.
Oh, healthy family.
Yeah, this
Sports
is
everywhere.
this
Wow.
is so. What was really nice about it is just it's such a great big pie-shaped lot, and there's quite a bit of room there. You could kids could have a soccer game.
That is such a neat part of town.
Yeah.
Wow, what a great view.
So just from those pictures, you can probably tell where it is. It backs on
Yeah.
to the old PH church parking area there. So no neighbors to the back.
Is it a straight lot or angled?
It's a pie shape.
It is pie shape.
Kind of an irregular pie shape. Yeah. It's
beautiful home. Beautiful home.
And funny enough, we sold the unit right next to it. So the one that you see there to the left, I sold that one last year.
Yep.
And now this one here is listed, and these guys are looking to upgrade to something a little bit bigger. But it really is a nice property in a great area. It's close to everything, and
the price, yeah,
not a lot to worry about with a place like that.
Now a standalone 1420 versus the duplex. What are you talking about in terms of increased value? 30 grand, 25 grand? What are we talking?
Well, it sort of depends. When you're in a development where you have half duplexes and single family detached homes as part of the same community, the price adjustment wasn't all that much.
Yeah, because they're just as significant.
$1,000 kind of thing.
Yeah.
But when you're actually comparing a house to a half duplex, all else being equal, you're probably looking around $20,000 difference. So you share one common wall, and as Judy could tell you, if you wanted to go down the path of how they build these now with the sound resonance bars and stuff, I mean they're pretty good in terms of the sound reduction between units, and short of somebody kind of thumping on the wall, you wouldn't even know you have a neighbor.
And the price seemed very generous. Is there a discount on that?
No, that's kind of where the market's at right now.
Okay.
I think these guys took a real reasonable approach to their value. We looked at some of the recent sales, and it puts them right bang onto the marketplace as it stands right now today.
And you know what? From the look of their environment there, they're a very active, intelligent family, so they know what they're doing. That's fantastic.
Right.
What a great, yeah, that's good. And a great referral right next door. So I wonder if they took a picture of your sign with their cell phone. I think they did.
Well, actually did text me and said, "Hey, we see our neighbors listed with you. That's great."
That's fantastic. That's wonderful. Well, as we say on most of our shows, it goes by so quick, and the time has come. You have been enjoying the Lorenz Team Real Estate Show on the Real Estate Network with our guest, Judy Schuller from Buyer's Choice Home Inspections, and your host, Jeff Lorenz, only on TVU. Thank you.
Thank you. Here from a Buyer's Choice Home Inspection. I'm a local home inspector to the Sherwood Park, Fort Saskatchewan area. If you're looking at getting a home inspection done with a good, detailed, thorough report, by all means, give me a call. Judy with the Buyer's Choice Home Inspection, inspected once, inspected right.
How do they get a hold of you?
Oh, phone number, 780-220-3798.
Thank you.